Good evening, everybody. Welcome to SHN Sports presentation of Decals with Dads. We're here in the locker room. Dave England right beside me here live from the Eagle football locker room tonight. This tradition continues, Dave. I tell you what, this truly makes it feel like Friday is just around the corner for the first opening game of the year. It's a home game, and what an opportunity. But it's funny, our producer didn't want to be with us tonight because we're in the locker room, and it smells just like a locker room. But this tradition, and what an opportunity for these dads and family members to settle in and decorate these helmets. A tradition that has been going on for a while, and we'll get to Coach Griffin about that. But so fun to be here and talk about this stuff.
It is, and we've waited 364 days for this. And, you know, it's the best time of the year for us at Georgetown Eagle football and first responder broadcasters. Something neat but it gives us an opportunity to kick off our Coaches Show series as well.
And where does that take us? Next Wednesday night live, and we will be at Mesquite Creek Outfitters this year. Proud sponsors of the Georgetown Eagle Football Coaches Show at Mesquite Creek Outfitters. Be at 6 p.m. every Wednesday night. So join us live there on Town Square. What better place to be than Town Square of Georgetown right before a Friday night game to talk to Coach Griffin, get the update kind of from the week before and a look towards the week ahead. And so this week, it always is tradition. We come back here into the locker room and take this time to talk about football. We talk about everything going on with the Eagle football program and what it's going to be looking like. And we'll have a couple of dads on. They'll come talk to us, and what we'll do is interview. We got a junior parent that's going to come talk to us, and then we got a senior dad. And, you know, what's that memory on the make your note for your son beforehand, because it might get a little dusty or onions being cut in that room and the tears flow a little bit.
Yeah.
And so something that Jimmy Warren talked about and kind of advised these dads, hey, get ready. It's not as easy as you think.
Yeah.
And so we'll talk to him here in just a little bit as well. Let's take a quick time out. We're going to make sure everything's good and going. Here's the deal. First Responder Broadcasting is a new company that has started with Kelly Duvall, Dave England, myself, and we will be a part of the SHN Sports Network. And so everything will stay on the SHN Network, and we will be live on their YouTube channel each and every Friday, each and every Coaches Show. But First Responder Broadcasting is our company now they'll bring you all of the broadcasting. And so we'll be on that platform on the SHN Network. But we are launched our own and took over the Georgetown program from Rob Hipp. And so tonight, with that, the cameras are running.
Yeah.
But they're cutting out on us. And
Okay.
so we'll have to power that back up and get that going. But it's an opportunity to get some kinks worked out here. So you'll hear us right now, but you're not seeing us because our cameras have a timer. So we're going to have to get out of these settings and figure this out. But hopefully we'll get it live and set up before too late on Friday to get everything ready to go. So a quick timeout. When we come back, more Decals with Dads as Coach Griffin brings you instruction to these dads. We'll be right back here in the locker room on the First Responder Broadcasting presentation of Decals with Dads. Back here live at Decals with Dads. And we will go back to the cameras here. I swear we'll get it all figured out. We're going to test it all.
It's like preseason, right? It's the beginning of the season.
I tell you what, in this adventure that you and Kelly and I went on with First Responder Broadcasting that we have started, we'll release our logos on Friday night. They'll be a part of the show as we pick those and ordered some shirts for us in the gear for the box. Ordered and brought to you by Syntech Shirt and Embroidery, a proud sponsor of Georgetown Eagle football and SHN and the First Responder Broadcasting team. But with that comes a little bit of hiccups here and there. Brand new cameras, brand new tripods. Just came in today.
More bit rate?
Yeah, a little bit rate, better signal. So hopefully everything will get more improved this year, and you'll have better quality. And we're trying to bring you everything we can. We have fun with this.
And that's because of sponsors.
Exactly.
Literally because of sponsors.
And you can't thank them enough. What they bring us and what they do for us to make things possible. We don't draw a paycheck. Kelly, Dave, and I, my wife, that is our producer, our statistician, Holden Tuma, that joins us now full-time this year. He was an intern last year. We don't draw a paycheck. This covers all of our expenses. The Wi-Fi that's gotten us this year, we had new upgrade in Wi-Fi, brand new cameras, brand new tripods, brought by generous sponsors. And we thank each and every one of you. And, man, we can go down the list, but Friday night you'll hear them all because you're going to go from JMTs to Syntech Shirt and Embroideries, and you're going to go to Fine Line Construction, Pro Glass, repeat, borrow from Morrow. You'll hear him every first down like you do every single season on every single drive for the Georgetown Eagles. But then you go as far as Smoothie King in the red zone. And, I mean, you can go on and on, Dave. We'll have them Friday night. I don't want to miss any. If I did tonight,
we'll rattle them all out.
Kelly's working on those for us for Friday, but we are ready and chomping at the bit. This equipment came today. I was like a kid in the candy store. Oh, the cameras are here. I texted the group. The cameras are here. And so we're ready to go, and we're going to bring you the best we can. We'd love to do it and highlight these student-athletes and the support that we get from this team and Coach Griffin and his staff and the Jason Dean, the athletic director, and we can't thank you enough. But we're live here in the locker room. Decals and Dads going underway, and we'll talk about certain things. You know, at Booster Club meeting on Monday, Coach Griffin went into talking about the scrimmage, some things he liked, some things he didn't. Talked about some things, and we'll go over that with some of the coaches and Coach Griffin here later in the game. Relatively a healthy spring. Or fall for this team. Not many injuries to face. One out, and we won't go into names and injuries, but should be back on week 2 or 3. And so it's some good news there on the injury front. Because when you come in out of the summer and contact starts, injuries can happen, and so that's good. But what are those? What do those things look like? What changes does this program have to expect this year? You lose Drayden Dickman. You lose a Marquise Dominguez. You lose Tucker Griffin and the leadership behind that. You lose Daniel Obina and a Tyler Duncan and a Brandon Hawkins on the defensive line. What does that look like, Dave? What do we go in that?
You know, I think we just reload every year. Georgetown has 5 football teams. We've got 2 freshman teams, and we've got 2 JV teams. And so these kids are getting to play football. They're not sitting on the sideline on varsity, so they're playing against quality competition their age all the way up through. By the time they get to their senior year, they're ready. We always wonder, what's our offensive line going to look like? Well, this year they look wonderful again. We always have these huge corn-fed, big boys on the O-line.
What does Kelly refer to them as?
The
buffet killers.
Buffet killers. And then, there's always questions about who do we replace. Well, guys just show out every year because the kids that are coming up that are going to be seniors this year or have made varsity, there's a reason they're on varsity. So, okay, we might have, what do the wide receivers look like? What is our tight end going to get more reps? Who knows? And I think Coach Beatty, as always, has a wide open playbook because we've got experience at the quarterback, we've got experience at the running back, and then I'm hearing our defense is looking really, really good, and I'm excited about that.
One of those notes that Coach talked about on here we look at the iPad, defense, solid and strong. And you got players like O.C. Presley back in the helm. You've got a Michael Valenta anchor that line. You got a Landry Leggett and a Seth Warren at the linebacker spot, a Mason Goggins, a Garrett Lloyd. A lot of names familiar, again, when you bring back 5 of those starters. But it's an opportunity for these kids to make a name for themselves. You get a senior like Jake Decker coming up on the defensive line. How's he going to step up and make his senior year valuable? On the offensive line, you didn't hear it a lot last year on a Sam Lopez or a Brant Hargrove. Opportunity for names to be made with the Buffet Killers. Wide receivers, you've got the Davin Hardwick, you've got Callaway, you've got Espinoza. I mean, you've got so many out there that have an opportunity for they're named to be called quite a bit by this coaching staff and across the country because you have a quarterback like Noah Boris coming back.
And speaking of coaching staff, we're blessed here at Georgetown with having some of the best in the state, if not in the country. You know, our defense is strong and solid because of Coach Nicky and his team, of coaches, and the offense, Coach Beatty. I mean, these kids have a plethora of amazing coaches around them. But then these kids are smart. They're student athletes. They're scholars, and they're building fine young men here at Georgetown. And that goes to our leadership in the locker room and out on the field. On Friday night, they're gonna do their work, get the job done, and get the dub.
Another note to think about. I don't know if you saw this one on the notes or heard this yet. The next win for this program is the 600th in Georgetown football history. A big opportunity here Friday night. We'll talk to Coach Griffin about that. He kind of talked about that at the Booster Club meeting. But it's just it's a statement win number to get to. A lot of your big-time programs that are winning programs have that. And, and so it's a statement that can be made on Friday night in the opening season. And so, these kids hear that. They know that's in the back of their head. They want to come out. It's opening day. You're at home. It's a lot of these seniors. It's your senior season. You want to come out with a bang, and it's going to be fun to watch that.
And I want to encourage the community, spread the word. Everybody in Georgetown should be at the football stadium on Friday night. For goodness sake, they've got 12,400 seating capacity. Why don't we fill up Birkelbach every Friday night, shut down the town, everybody come out to the football game, and support these fine young athletes and the coaching staff that have been putting so much work in throughout the off season to be here, and they want to come and show out for the community. And it's really a lot of fun. It's not expensive. If you're looking for something to do with the kiddos on Friday night, what better place? They can go get a ring pop and watch some football.
And I tell you what, you're going to get to see Copper's Cove 2 weeks in a row here at Georgetown. They'll come into Birkelbach on Friday night against Georgetown, and then next Friday they'll be back at Birkelbach to take on Eastview back-to-back. And so the 3 home teams for Birkelbach Field this year, Copper's Cove, Georgetown, and Eastview, will be on display the first 2 weeks here. But Georgetown will open up with Copper's Cove, another test of a 6A school. Coach Johnson's in his second year. He's the 4th coach in 5 years for Copper's Cove. And so he built a program at Dallas at White High School, the White Longhorns up in the Dallas ISD area. Went in his first year, no wins on the season for that team. Comes out in his 3rd season, they make the playoffs, and he built a reputation there. It's been over 20 years in coaching at the college level, high school level, and now his 2nd year at Copper's Cove. And like Coach said, you can win 96% of the time against Copper's Cove on Friday night, and 4% of the time they make big plays with a big receiver and these athletes, and you can be in trouble. And so the opponent is not slight to look at. Copper's Cove, while finishing 2-8 last year, a challenge, athletic team. You talk about 2 linemen, the brothers, Michael and Marquise Uini. Michael has committed to Georgia, and he's a 6'8", 330-pound left tackle, and his brother's a 6'4", 300-pound sophomore left guard. And so the Uini family will be on the left side of the Copper's Cove line. That's a challenge for Michael Valenta and this defensive line. And so it'll be a fun game to be a part of. Come out and enjoy it and support these young men.
And, also we're going to be showcasing our friends at the band. And we're going to
absolutely.
get to show you some halftime, the Georgettes, the cheer. Everybody's involved. Everybody's engaged. It's a community event. Be there. And we hope you're there and watch the game later on SHN.
So let's take a timeout. When we do, we're going to go find either Jimmy Warren or Mark Boris, and we're going to come back. You see on this camera angle a lot of dads gathering around, working on these helmets. It's fun if you look at some of the dads. They put the sticker on. They don't press it all the way, but then they're holding it back to look. Is it straight or not? They take pride in this. How their son's going to be wearing this helmet.
It's kind of hard to see on the camera, but behind the lockers, there's a neon blue light. And so this locker room has been revamped, and it looks incredible. Just loving it. We got the Big Eagle football logo on the wall there, and everybody's names. You've got all the history from, I can see all the way back to 1927 in the corner over there. So
let's take a quick time out. It looks like Jimmy Warren might have nothing to do, so we'll try to get him over here and talk to him. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, First Responder Broadcasting brings you more Decals with Dads here in just a moment on the SHN Network.
What's up?
things around Georgetown, this tradition that we have. It's awesome to write a note to Seth, and I'm sure all the dads are feeling the same way. Gets a little emotional in here when you're writing that note, but it's all good things. It's all about cherishing every moment.
One of the warnings you gave Monday night at the Bush Club, you might want to pre-write something out because there might be some dust in here, maybe someone cutting onions we don't see, some tears may fall.
Yep.
How meaningful is that when you take the time and know that your son's worked his backside off the summer that I got to follow on Twitter and watching Seth, the dedication that he put out there to better himself as he got bigger, stronger, faster, to see a write-up like the Oklahoma State camp put on him, talking about the speed, the agility, the headiness of a kid like him, and only a junior in high school. When you write that letter, how meaningful is that? How much does that mean for you and for your wife as you guys look at that and prepare for a night like this?
It means a lot. It means a lot for both of us, just preparing for this season. I bleed true blue too. I graduated here, went to school here, played football here, in this locker room. So it's good. It's good to see him shine. Good to see him put forth the work and the effort. And all these guys all summer long have been putting in a lot of work preparing for this season, preparing for Friday nights. So they're ready to go.
On the family side of it, how ready are you for Friday night to watch these Eagles, this team? It's a new team each and every year with a program like this that has to reload when you lose 20, 30 seniors, 40, 50 seniors, and now to come back in. How ready are you guys on the family side of it to watch these kids go to work Friday night?
We're 100% ready. It can go right now. We can do it right now. Wait until Friday. We don't need to do that. And, I'm a defensive guy. My son plays defense. And Coach Nicky, when he talks to those boys, you want to run through a brick wall for them, and I'm sure all these boys do the same way. And offenses, they got all superpowers. Noah, Petter, all those guys, receiving corps.
So
yeah.
We know all the big names, but you've been to some of the practices. We visited with you out there.
Yep.
But who are you seeing this year that you're excited about that we may be calling their names a little bit more that some of our listeners haven't heard about?
That's a long list, but I'd say, Mason Goggins, he's coming around. He's super fast. He's crazy fast.
Okay.
Like people don't see that, and he's playing that razor position. You've got all the corners. Man, we're deep in corners. OC, Jaheim, Leo. You got the safeties. We're pretty deep at safeties. You got Alex, and you got Lloyd, and then Luke Holly's coming up. Those some good names on defense there. D-line. I know more about the defense, right? I watch the defense practice. So
that's
why I'm asking.
Speaking of that, though, you seem to have a nice focus on the linebackers, being that Seth's one of those three starting linebackers. Talk about that crew and a Landry Leggett senior-led linebacker core with Landry Leggett, your son being a junior, and Seth. And then talking about a Mason Goggins coming in, a different players coming in at linebacker to fill that void. Talk about the linebackers this year as they play a vital role in this defense.
Yeah, I think with Landry helping, help Seth last year, and Jacob Faldesack helping Seth last year, it's going to show dividends this year. So Landry's a good leader, good big strong kid. He's going to do good things.
What's the communication like? I didn't play football. I'm not familiar with it, but on the defense side of the ball, what is when they get up there, the offense is coming up, what kind of communication? I guess Landry and Seth are working together, talking, telling the guys behind them what they're seeing.
Right.
What's that like?
It's a lot of chaos. It's controlled chaos. There's a lot of talking, and there's a lot of, they're getting calls from Nicky, Coach Nicky's, sending calls in. They're all talking, hand signals. Everybody's watching everybody, and they're working very well as a unit. And I've seen him practice a lot. Versus last year, Coach Nicky comes in, and it's his first year as a defensive coordinator here, and Coach Pat did great, but that's all those boys knew.
Yeah.
And then you got Coach Nicky coming in, and it's a whole new defensive mindset, whole new everything, schemes, everything. So to watch them last year put all that together, I'm really excited about year two because they did more things last year than I thought they would, and this year I'm really excited to see it. So
I'm looking forward to how their stamina and their endurance, because this summer was kind of like we didn't have to send them to Junction to be the Junction boys. Just being here in Georgetown was like being out in Junction. So I think that's going to bode well throughout the season. They're going to have that ability to maintain the presence on the field and
Oh, yeah. I mean, the heat has been crazy, as you guys know, and the other teams are dealing with the same thing we are. So it's not, I think all the boys hope they're going to be used to it. And, as long as they hydrate, everybody stays hydrated, drinks a lot of water, I think they're going to be fine. I mean, this is Texas football. I mean, they know it. Yeah. They lived it. They've done it all summer.
Let's flip directions talking to you. Let's go to the Booster Club side of it. You're on the board there. Meet the Eagles the other night. Just phenomenal. One, credit to you and your crew. I was at work. I heard some of the best barbecue around. Dave was there.
Oh, my God.
But it looked like another phenomenal event, fundraiser for this football Booster Club program and for these boys, where it all goes back to. Talk to us about Meet the Eagles and how that went.
Yeah, Meet the Eagles went great. I mean, we had a great turnout. Once again, last year was a good turnout. This year was a good turnout. All the dads and moms helping out, putting all that thing together. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I walked in, hadn't seen the decorations when I got there, and then I thought last year was like, this can't be topped. And then I walk in this year, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, this is like game changer. So it's awesome. And all the guys, dads, man, we had a group of, it was probably 20 guys at some time or another. I mean, we cooked over, it was around 30 briskets.
Yeah.
So, it was a lot of time, and it was fun. We catered it last year. We were a new board, kind of drink from a fire hose. So we're like, we'll just cater it like they did the years prior to us after COVID. So we're getting back to the traditions Georgetown we used to do. We used to cook. Yeah. We used to do all these things, and we went to catering, and then
I'm telling you what, that saved a lot of money. But the barbecue, I can't tell you how amazing that barbecue is. Some of the best I've ever had. And I joked around. I can't remember where I wrote it, but somebody needs to start a food trailer, have a food. I can't wait for the tailgates.
Our spare time, yeah.
Hopefully y'all can recreate some of that barbecue at the tailgates.
Hey, you missed it Monday night at the Booster Club meeting, Dave. Jimmy was unofficially voted in as the permanent tailgater and the chef for all the barbecue all season. So,
it was amazing food.
I think they tried to push me on like years and years and years.
I'm
like, wait a minute, guys.
3 or 4, right? And
a couple, but
you bleed blue. Yeah, I do. It's hard to leave.
I know it's hard to leave. You know, and like I said, it's back to just cherishing every moment.
Yes.
I mean, you got to cherish these moments right here in this locker room with all these dads, these coaches here. The camaraderie we have is a team, parents. I mean, everything, community, the whole 9 yards. It's great.
Seth walked in a little bit ago and giving him a hard time, and I said, simple question. Are you ready for Friday? And he goes, is that even a question? I said, fair enough. No, it's not. Decals with Dads continues here in the Georgetown Eagle locker room. Jimmy Warren joins us, one of the dads of Seth Warren, the junior linebacker. One more before I let you go. We got to talk about this because it's so freaking funny.
Yeah.
The meaning behind Seth Warren switching from 29 to 9. Not what you would think it would be. Not what I thought it would be when you told me.
Me neither.
Talk to us about that.
So Seth's never been a kid where he picks a number. Some kids have that number they like. He switches numbers like we would underwear. I mean, it's all the time. So he wanted I don't know what number he wanted last year. He ended up with 29. He's like, oh, okay. This year he said, I want 9. I was like, all right. I just found out 2 weeks ago. I told you at
Media Day.
At Media Day.
Yeah.
And I found out a couple weeks ago. I said, dude, why did you want number 9? He goes, the water boy, Bobby Boucher. I was like, are you kidding me? Lance Taylor's your favorite linebacker on the planet, but he wanted Bobby Boucher.
But Bobby Boucher was number 9 and played linebacker.
The water boy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's going to be fun in the broadcast booth.
Oh, I bet.
Calling the water boy.
I had to run and tell y'all right when I heard it.
I told Seth, I said, just so you know, the first tackle you make is going to be Bobby Boucher. Seth Warren on the tackle come Friday night. And I'm sure it'll be early on in the game because Seth Warren just won. It was so fun to watch last year as a sophomore. You have Faltasek out there. You had Leggett out there. You had these guys out at linebacker. And Seth just slowly but surely kept working that Seth Warren into the ball game to the point you had to keep him in there and you had to give him those reps. And, man, what a job he's done, the work he's put in, the summer you guys had at all these camps. It's just been fun to watch Seth. And so we're excited to see him in his junior year, knowing we get to see him one more year after this.
Is he looking ahead towards after high school?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
What's his plans?
I mean, his goals right now are, pretty lofty. He wants to play Division I football.
Nice.
And if you ask him where, he doesn't really care.
Yeah.
And he'll be happy with D2, D3. I mean, all those schools are great. Just the ability to play football after high school. I mean, and he knows there's not very many kids that are able to do that. And, that's his goals. So,
Cool.
that's what he wants to do. So, yeah.
That's another reason why we like doing this is to promote these kids and get their names out there and, not only promote Georgetown football, but these are some darn good student athletes. And
Oh, they are.
They're smart kids and heck of football players.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Fun
Jimmy
to
Ward,
watch.
thanks for joining us tonight.
My pleasure always.
We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we're going to go get Mark Boris. He started writing his card, so I'm going to stop him mid-write and bring him on here and talk to Mark Boris, the dad of Noah Boris. So we'll take a quick time out. When we come back, Mark Boris will join us, and then we'll continue on at some point. We're going to get Coach Griffin in here before we close this show out. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll be right back on the SHN Network. Back here live at the Georgetown Eagle football locker room. Oh, well, yep, got to switch it to the live video. I forgot the mouse tonight. It makes it difficult. And now we're joined by Mark Boris, father of senior quarterback, number 12, Noah Boris. And so now a different aspect. We had junior Seth Warren's dad, Jimmy, came on, and now for a senior's father and a take on this. Mark, what does it mean tonight to step in here and to spend the time? I sat here and watched you working on Noah's helmet and then starting to write his card, so I had to stop that to slow you down there. But what does that mean? This is Noah's senior year. This is the last year he'll suit up in a Georgetown uniform. What did that mean to be in here to share this moment, to prep his helmet, knowing Friday night he goes out for the last time on the first opening night game?
That's right. Well, they're giving him a redshirt year, so he'll be back next year. So I'll just let you know. Hey, from the heart, it's a privilege for me to be in this locker room. It's a privilege for me to be a part of this, and I think some of that was I loved sports growing up, wasn't very athletic, and I think God gave me two very athletic children. They're both, I've got Ella at Benold in junior high, and I haven't thought too much about, my son is going to turn 18 in 3 months.
Wow.
And he'll be done with high school in June. So, it's real.
The opportunity, it's so fun. We come in here every year and watch this Decals with Dad and what goes on, and you guys having this opportunity in the moment to spend in just a reflection as you get ready, and this being the last time as Noah gets to saddle up and knowing it's his year to shine. He came in a relief role and shined like no one expected last year, and now the spotlight's on there. That name Boris is out there. That it's known, and so. The one thing about that, and I wanted to talk to you, I warned you before we came on, and Dave and I witnessed this, and more and more I'm impressed with Noah and the job that you and your wife have done raising this young man.
Amy.
You and Amy have done a phenomenal job, and the more I get to know Noah, I got to spend time with him in baseball. I was spoiled to get to see a student athlete like Noah in multiple sports, and I love talking to the young man. First day of practice, Dave and I go out 6:30 in the morning, 7 in the morning, and there was a break. And Noah came up and stopped and walked over to Dave and shook his hand. Hey, good to see you, Dave. I mean, it was just personalized. And it just wanted to take that time to address an adult and just the way that kid carries himself. And you see that, and I know that I watched it in baseball, watching it in football last year, and talking to him, interviewing him as this Boris name became known around this area. And then I go to bring this equipment in tonight, Mark, and I walk in here because we're waiting for the kids to get out to set up. And there's 2 students, athletes in here, and one of them has a backpack on vacuuming the floors, and it's your son.
Yeah.
And so the leader of this team is doing the work that no one else wants to do. That speaks volumes to the young man that you and Amy have raised. And it just seems to be natural for that young man to be that leader, whether it be in the front or at the back, bringing it up and cleaning up and making sure things are done right. It speaks volumes to you guys.
Thank you.
Talk about that with Noah and just the young man that he is away from the sport.
Yeah, so, whether it's sports, I think Noah's naturally wired for team, and I don't know if that means he's going to end up on the fire department or where his life's heading, but I think he gets team, he gets mission. So I'm just going to say this, during those private talks with Noah through junior high, he wasn't, I want to be the quarterback. I can tell you if he was a cornerback on this team, probably wouldn't want to be a backup cornerback. Let's be honest. They all want to get on the field every play. He is a team guy, and he has a humility I don't have. If I had all the press that Noah's had last year, I'd probably just be watching that all night on a loop. Right, all the interviews, all the articles. Sometimes when Noah's on TV, we don't even know about it. He doesn't mention it, and then we'll get a phone call or something. Hey, did you see Noah on the noon? He was on the noon news on KVU or something, and we're like, hey, I guess we missed. So yeah, he has a natural humility. I think that comes from God. That comes from the Holy Spirit. Thank you for giving us credit, but
Well, just as parents, Dave and I both are parents. My youngest just graduated from Texas State, and as you see it, you see your kids grow. That old saying out there, game recognizes game, and when you see a young man that's wired different, you recognize the raising that he was brought up with, whether it be the moral basis that he was raised with, and the ability to humility to be a leader and lead in ways that no one else wants to. But to see your star quarterback, your senior quarterback in here with a backpack vacuum on, making sure this is cleaned up before the dads got in here was just mind-blowing to me.
Could you do me a favor, though? If you see him like that, remind him to do that in his bedroom, all right? Because I think I've asked him every day this week to clean his bedroom, But the problem is he's stronger than me now,
So you got to be careful and temper now.
That's what Georgetown football has done, So
as we turn from Noah's junior year to his senior year, the unexpected happened last year, I think, for everyone. You never expect a starting quarterback to go out in week 3 and be out for the year. You never expect that backup quarterback to step up and be a all-state quarterback. And Noah did that. And he opened a lot of eyes and opened a lot of mouths to talk about it, Noah Boris. And now he rolls that in. Talk about the work Noah did this summer. You and I have talked, and we stayed in touch. I like to follow Noah, and I got that opportunity during baseball to talk to him and how it was going. Talk to us about that summer and the work that Noah put in to get ready for this year.
Well, speaking as a parent, where you have those times where you have to motivate a kid, we did not have to motivate Noah this summer, and he would be up. He would be out the door. He was doing 2-a-days in one form or another, either at the gym, at the field with his new receivers, or at a camp. But he was basically in 2-a-day mode.
Before 2-a-days.
From June 1st.
Wow.
So, we tried to pack in all those camps and stuff in June. We were pretty much done by July. In fact, he's when something's on his mind, he tells me and he says, I've had enough of camps. I just want to focus on this season.
Right.
And his dad, I got to listen to messages like that, like enough of the camps.
Yeah.
He is still a young man, and we don't need to camp him to death. He wants to play football.
We talk about you and I talked at a Booster Club meeting earlier in the summer. He came back from vacation and immediately went, hey, it's time to go throw and work out.
Yeah.
Is the normal dedication for this young man that I'm going to take and enjoy myself, but I'm going to work hard at the same time?
Yeah, I think, again, he has a natural mission mentality, So from his standpoint, he has a job to do. So, and I think, you guys as first responders for a lot of your career, you understand, that really well. and that's just his orientation. And so when we know he's a quieter kid, right?
Absolutely.
But I think that leadership style, I think his teammates naturally know that he's not about Noah and he's not about opening a restaurant someday.
He knows his role, knows his assignment.
Yeah, he's about it's just let's go win this.
I think the one thing that blows me away is he's not that vocal, outspoken leader, but his actions speak louder than any words he would ever say. Just watching the young man operate on a daily basis out on the baseball field as a relief pitcher, not one of the stars, that didn't bother him. It was, what is my team doing and how is my team going to do?
That's right.
And how can I be the best part of that team? And to watch that and the effort, not being afraid to carry the ball bag or the bats or the helmets, not being afraid to make sure everything got cleaned up, to pick up the trash up in the stands, clean it up, putting the flags back in the press box. In here vacuuming tonight. He speaks louder than you could ever imagine in actions.
Actions, yeah.
Thank you, Wally.
I can only imagine that some of this comes from Tucker, because we saw Tucker bragging about him before, the season. That, hey, watch out for this kid. He's got a cannon. But then now, how awesome is it that he is that leader that these younger quarterbacks are looking up to? Is like, I need to be like this fine young man.
Yeah.
I need to follow him.
Hey, you guys know I teach at Benold, and the junior high kids know about Noah, and so and I think that I would call it leadership by example.
Right,
leadership by example.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't punt all this on your son. I'm going to turn this on you as an opportunity to make sure I thank you personally. In baseball, we never went without either a hot dog and a water. And you snuck in while we're broadcasting, so I can't tell you no and to stop. And thank you. My wife would take off her headset and talk to you. And so that the example that Noah got and gets from home from you and Amy is not seen. It is seen by others. And so I personally thank you. As I was up there each and every game, that water bottle was a blessing each and every game. And so you pass that and say, Noah got a lot of that, and the Holy Spirit has blessed him and in his faith and his growth. His parents made an example, and you live that example each every day, and we appreciate that. I recognize that, and I thank you.
Thank you, Wally.
Because baseball was fun. And every time I saw Mark coming, it's like, I know I'm in the middle of the inning and I can't stop. And so.
And the food's coming.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It
was very much appreciated.
Yeah.
So you've been watching, I'm sure you've been watching. Tell us about some underrated kids. I asked the same thing of Mr. Warren, but tell us about who you're excited about that we might be calling their names that our listeners haven't heard of. That, we know all the usual, the Petter fan club, and all that. Who are some unknowns that you're looking forward to seeing show out this year?
Yeah. Thanks for the question. And other than watching every snap on Huddle, during my lunch, I haven't been watching it all, right? But there's no doubt. Well, one of the things I'm looking forward to watching is the improvement. We know we've had basically almost complete turnover on wide receiver, most of the offensive line, most of the defensive line.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking forward to. I don't know how shaky those first couple games are, but just watching that improvement. And, one thing we've always noticed over the years about this program is we're always better at the end of the season.
Yes, absolutely.
So
it's dialed in.
Now, I'm not saying we're going to start 0-4.
No.
But, hey, I hope we'll be 4-0.
Does it take some of the pressure off of Noah having Andrew back there?
Oh, man.
Like knowing that.
That's been going on since 7th grade.
Okay.
Noah's had Andrew pretty much in his backfield up until Andrew came up to varsity. Okay. So, we the group of young men and their families, we've been watching these kids since NFL flags, since it all began. And Andrew has always been the best player on the field.
Wow.
Yeah.
How excited is the Boris family for Friday night?
Oh, my goodness. My goodness. Yeah. So let's see. I get out of work right at 4, so that should have me at the stadium about 4:03. So, yeah.
We'll
it's
be here
going to be
with
great.
you.
I'll meet you there.
Great.
We're just excited. I'm off work on Friday to make sure I'm not late. We'll be here, get set up.
Yeah. And you guys are a big part of this program, too.
I tell you what, we love it.
Yeah.
We've started our own LLC now, First Responder Broadcasting, because we just delved into time. We don't want to draw a paycheck. We want to draw fun. Our sponsors take care of us. We were talking about that earlier. We put everything back into this equipment. It was like a kid in a candy store today opening up new cameras to upgrade everything to make this the best possible, to highlight these student athletes. And so the Decals with Dad continues on as now some of the dads are spending some time talking as they finish up letters. We're going to let Mr. Boris go. I know he's got to finish up that letter to Noah. But, Mark, thank you for sharing time with us. thank you for sharing your son with us and allowing him to come up and talk to us whenever we want to chat with him. But thank you, more importantly, for the way you've raised that young man.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed it. Selfishly, I've enjoyed it as a broadcaster, being able to talk to him and just know you just get a quality young man every time that is so respectful of everybody, not adults, everybody, and the way he leads himself. And so it speaks volumes to you and Amy, and so we appreciate that.
Thank you, Wally.
But,
thank you, Dave.
We'll take a quick time out here
All
at
right.
Decals with Dads, and we'll let Mark go and let him write it up, and we're going to go find Coach Griffin and wrap it up here tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back here on Decals with Dads on the SHN Sports Network. Welcome back. Decals with Dads here live in the locker room, and now we chased him down, and we're going to corner him for a few more minutes before we let him go home to his family. It's Coach Griffin joins us now. Coach, Dave was going to ask you, go first on that question about Decals with Dads and the tradition.
Tell us about the tradition. I know we ask you every year, but we've got new folks that haven't heard about it. But how did it start, and tell us about it.
You know, it's been something Coach Dean started several years ago, and it's just a really cool little process. I think it's happening all over the state now as well. And, you know, it's kind of a unique son-father deal where they can come in, stripe their son's helmet, write them a note, you know, just kind of write them a note of encouragement and a challenge for the year. And so it's a pretty special deal.
Nice.
First year as a dad and a coach, Tucker now on to the college level and everything. The first time you didn't have to do a helmet in a while. How was that? Just being here to be coach.
Yeah, it's it's kind of back to the way it used to be. You know, for a long time I was just coach, and my kids were little, but now they're grown up and out of the house, and so it's unique. It's going to be a different season. You know, not having somebody on the sidelines for the last 6 years. So.
And how hard is it going to be to keep Melanie off the sidelines this season? Then?
Well, it's just hoping I keep her in Georgetown.
Yeah, I was going to say,
the biggest deal.
She'll be with Tucker.
Yeah.
Okay, Kelly sent us some questions that we'll go with as well that he had for us that we want to bring to you. What's your favorite part of opening week? We welcome in Copper's Cove Friday night for you as you come into this year.
I think it's just the excitement of new, you know, and we kind of got through fall camp. We're kind of busy, and you kind of get your head down and roll your sleeves up and just get busy. And then now all of a sudden we're in game week, and things change. You got your scheming and your planning, and that's always fun. That's one of my favorite parts. So it's really good to jump back into that.
This year you've lost some of the leadership and seniors, skilled players from last year, and like a Drayden Dickman and Daniel Obina on both sides of the ball. Several players that you've lost. But some all-district performers coming back. How's that transition going for this team?
I think it's going great. I mean, those guys are stepping right back into it. We try to train our kids up where you know, you have a next set of leaders coming in right after that. So, you know, every team's unique. Everybody's a little bit different, and, you know, that's kind of what we actually talked about on Saturday night after Meet the Eagles. We had a meeting and kind of talked about, you know, what is this team going to be like? You know, what are you going to choose as success for you? And what is that going to look like? So it's good, and it's fun to see them develop and grow and kind of learn into that as they go throughout the season.
Speaking of leadership, is there any leaders that have popped up that have surprised you?
You know, I think, you know, as long as I've been doing it, I can kind of see, you know, who's out there and who's going to step in, and those guys that we expected have done that. They've just stepped right in and gotten after it. So, you know, we got 10 guys on our leadership council, and they were elected by their teammates, and they do a great job all the way across the board.
Captains on this team, have you guys selected those for this year?
It's our leadership council, and you're going to ask me, and, you know, my fear is that I'm going to leave one off while I name them, but I might have to step out and go walk around the locker room. But it's Leo Diaz, Ethan West, a backup quarterback. Leo's a corner. Then we've got Noah Boris, quarterback, Landry Leggett, linebacker, Mason Goggins, linebacker, Garrett Lloyd, safety, Andrew Petter, running back. Let's see, Cody Hollyback, wide receiver / running back, and then we've got Manny Gonzalez, offensive lineman, and then we've got Michael Valenta, defensive tackle.
Michael Valenta comes back on the defensive side of the ball this year as your anchor, a third-year starter for this Georgetown program. It seems like he gets bigger every time I see that young man. What kind of leadership do you look for out of him to kind of anchor this defense this year?
You know, Mike's a pretty quiet guy, so it's just steadiness of, you know, hey, of this is the way we do it, this is how it works. He's just a pretty steady force inside, pretty steady in the weight room and in what he does. That's kind of his personality. So it works out really good. I mean, he's just here every day. He shows up. He's doing what he's supposed to do and does it really well.
So Copper's Cove, new coach, new system. What can we expect?
Well, it's second year. They were the same coach they had last year, and they're you know, they'll be better at it because they're in their second year. You know, they'd only seen him for about – he was hired late last year, so he'd only seen him for about a month or so before he played him last year. So they're going to be better. They've got a 3-star receiver that's got a couple offers, and, you know, he's kind of a long, fast kid, and then they've got Of course, the big old offensive lineman has got offers from everybody in the SEC, and he's really good. I mean, he's a big old player. And, so, I mean, they're a talented football team. And, the danger of playing a team like that is you can control the game for 96% of the time, and they'll score 4 touchdowns in that other 4% of the time. So they're a dangerous football team because they're extremely athletic. So, but I think our kids are prepared. Our mindset is good, and our kids are working hard. So I'm excited to see what they can do on Friday.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine, the Bible of high school and college football that comes out every year, predicts Georgetown at 2 in the district. Does that put a target on your back? Does it just make the target bigger with that G logo on you?
I mean, we always kind of have a target on our back. So, I mean, that's just part of it. We're pretty good traditionally, so we kind of get everybody's best shot. I don't know that being number 2 has any, I don't know if that makes you feel better or feel worse, to be honest with you, But, it leaves a lot to be like we've got a lot to live up to. They ranked us that's where they think we are, so we've got a lot to go out and to meet expectations.
Friday night's the Peanut Butter Bowl. We talked about it last year. Talk to us about that, what that is, and what the fans can do to support that.
So it's a pretty cool opportunity. You'll see some places around at the game on Friday night when you walk in the gate, as well as some stuff online on our social media. You can go to peanutbutterbowl.com and donate $2 for a jar of peanut butter, or you can donate $2 at our elementary, middle, or high schools. They're doing the same thing in Copper's Cove this week. And then everything we raise goes directly to Helping Hands Georgetown. It goes to a food bank here in Georgetown to help families out in need. And for us, commitment is one of our pillars, and that's we talk about commitment to our community and what that means and what it means to be a young man who's blessed and to be blessed from here and all the things that you have. Well, you need to be willing to give back. So it's an opportunity for those guys to see it live and in action.
One thing you talked about Monday night that I would love for people to be explained and hear from you, 9590. You talked about it in the meeting. Yeah. It made sense finally. I kind of got the numbers put in my notes. But talk about 9590, what you guys look for.
So that's what we talk about defensively. That's kind of our motto. And 9590 means we need to have 9 hats within 5 yards of the ball 90% of the time at the end of every play. So our guys get graded on that in practice. That's kind of one of the only things we grade in practice is that. Defensively to make sure that we're running to the ball. And, football changes, and there's lots of different things, but the fundamentals don't. Like, you got to be able to run, you got to be able to tackle, you got to be able to block, you got to be able to throw and catch. Those things don't change no matter what scheme you're running. So, our guys on defense, they got to be able to run, and they got to be able to run to the football. So that's kind of what that means for us.
Speaking of running, conditioning this year has been a little different with this wet bulb system in place by the UIA on the state. How is that going to come into play come Friday night in the first few weeks?
I think it's going to come into play a little bit for both teams probably just because it's been harder to be out as long as we normally are to condition the way that we normally condition because of the wet bulb guidelines. But, and they're going to do some stuff. Back 2011, we had a big heat wave like this, and it was similar. And, what they'll do is they'll add a timeout every quarter, just an official's timeout. They'll take a 2-minute break and give everybody an extra timeout per quarter. So, give those kids a little bit of a break. It's going to be hot Friday, So we got out this afternoon, went and ran a little bit in it and, make sure that they understand how warm it's going to be and what they got to do.
The game time Thursday night changed. No changes on Friday night.
No, we just pushed that 5 o'clock game back a little bit because it's pretty stinking hot at 5 o'clock still, So we pushed that back a little bit. But, when you look at the Friday night time, it's happening some across the state. But between 7 and 9 o'clock, you're talking about like just over a degree, of change. So I don't know that you're getting a whole lot out of that.
Yeah, still hot.
Copper's Cove comes in Friday night here at Georgetown at Birkelbach Field. The opening game of the 2023 season. Kickoff 7 or 7:30?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. It was funny. You talked about that, and then the change came out on the JV game, freshman games on the social media. But on Monday, you were like, we can't practice at 5, but we can play a game on Friday at 5 or Thursday at 5.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden things get pushed back a little bit for the heat. So it'll be interesting to see. Friday night, come watch us live here at Burkle Field. The Eagles take on the Copperas Cove Bulldogs. They will come in here ready to go against the Georgetown Eagles. 7 o'clock is the kickoff. We'll be live on the SHN Sports Network at 6 p.m. with a special 1-hour pregame for game number 1. We'll highlight the Peanut Butter Bowl, and a shout-out to all our sponsors that make this season, again, possible here on First Responder Broadcasting as we bring you Eagle Sports proudly each and every week. Coach Griffin, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Decals with Dad was a huge hit. It's fun to see. We talked to a couple of dads in that meeting. And so before we let you go, what's the message this week to this team before you head out Friday night? I mean, it's just 2 days away.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, we've done the work. Now we got to go out and execute and put ourselves in a position to win the football game. So
Friday night, join us live here on SHN Sports. We'll bring you Eagle football. If not, be in the stands. Burkle Field, what better place to be on a Friday night than watching these young student athletes go to war for their school and the pride and putting it all on the line in game number 1. Quick timeout. We come back. We'll wrap it up. That's Decals with Dads on the SHN Network. And we're back here live, Decals with Dads. And I tell you what, Dave, the transformation has occurred.
Yeah. I mean, you look around, it might be hard to see on your camera, but all these helmets are stickered and striped, and it looks like it's football season here in Georgetown, Texas.
Friday night, 7 p.m., the kickoff for the Copperas Cove Bulldogs here at Burkle Field against your Georgetown Eagles. Myself, Dave England, my wife, Jerry Ann, will be up there. Holden will be out this week. He's under the weather. Kelly is still on the brink right now. We'll find out more on Friday. But no matter what, we're going to have a broadcast, and we're going to bring you Georgetown Eagle football. Last night, the Lady Eagle volleyball team victorious in a 3-set sweep over the Vista Ridge Rangers. They go into action in a volleypalooza this weekend, and they'll be in action Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So plenty of Eagle sports out there to enjoy as the school year gets underway. And Decals with Dads has occurred. Next Wednesday night, 6 p.m., we'll be over Mesquite Creek Outfitters. And come join us. The Coaches Show live there at Mesquite Creek this year. Proud sponsors of Georgetown Eagle football and the First Responder broadcast. Kelly sent me this. I'm going to read it. I'm going to make sure I got it right. All of our sponsors, we need to give them a shout-out. Mesquite Creek Outfitters, Pro Glass, Melanie J. Financial, and you might recognize the name that goes with that. That's Hunter Creasy, former Georgetown Eagle standout here that went on to play at the college level as well. Proud sponsors. Aesthetic Dentistry of Georgetown, Smoothie King of Georgetown, Matt Morrow and Borrow from Morrow, Nathaniel Funk, your Edward Jones financial advisor, G-Town Lumber and Supply, Graham & Sons Cattle Company, the Eaton Corporation, Syntex Shirt and Embroidery, Eagle Football Booster Club, Fine Line General Contractors, and Oak Ridge Disciple House. We are so appreciative as our camera shuts off one more time. We're going to get that figured out before Friday night. But we're so appreciative of all our sponsors that continue to bring this possible to you. They allow us to upgrade this equipment that we've got to figure out how to run. But they make it all possible, and we enjoy it each and every night. So I know I look forward to it. Tomorrow can't come and go soon enough. And then Friday night, be ready to go. Booster Club, Pep Rally.
Pep Rally, 9:30 on Friday morning. It's a Western theme, as is the game, I believe. So.
Come out and enjoy that. But Friday night, 6 o'clock, we'll be live on the air, 7 o'clock kickoff. The Peanut Butter Bowl. Bring out your donations. You come to Birkelbach Field, $2 to buy. You can donate that to buy a jar of peanut butter, or bring some peanut butter and throw it in the containers. They'll be at the entrances, but a good way to support those in need in the communities. And we just appreciate all the help. For Dave England, myself, Wally Harmon, thanks for joining us tonight. First Responder Broadcasting, proud broadcasters of Georgetown Eagle Sports here on the SHN Sports Network. And we will call it a night tonight. Remember, it doesn't cost you a dime to be kind. And we'll be back Friday night live from Birkelbach Field. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a good night.